Hi, it's Leah Busby back, and following on from our video last week, we have had heaps of questions about wills and family planning. So Natalie is back.
Hello everyone.
Thank you for coming back. So a couple of really good questions we've got since doing the video last week about how important it is to have a legally binding will. And so we just thought we'd do a bit of a Q&A session now because we've already had a lot of inquiries with a client come in already to see Natalie and get it in place. Mm-hmm. So one of the questions that I got asked this morning at the gym was, what information do we have to have organised and know before we come in for the meeting with you?
For clients with young families, it's really about having an idea about who you'd like to care for your children if both you and your partner have died, along with who you'd like to have as your legal representatives. Other than that, you don't really need to come prepared at all, because I will be there asking you questions along the way and prompting you.
Perfect, and that's exactly how I answered, so I'm glad that was correct. And Natalie will, so it is a legally binding will, so that's another question we got asked was, another client had spoken to Natalie and they were like, whoa, that's full on. And so it's going to be two-pronged, this answer is, A, do we need to do all of that? And what if we just did it ourselves? So I think first of all, there's either a legally binding will or there's not, is that right?
True, yes, there is. I mean, sure, you can attempt to do it yourselves, but the way I explain it to people is that you go to a mechanic and you get your car serviced. You can try and do it yourself, but it's not going to come out the same way, and you're likely to make a lot of mistakes, and it's going to cost you a lot more in the long run than if you had just gotten a professional to do it.
That's good, and that's a really good analogy actually. I'll start using that with my clients to ask about you. And I think that's really important because you pay for what you get. It's like saying, do you know a good plumber that's cheap? Like, do you want a good plumber or do you want something that's cheap? So I guess from a legal perspective, Natalie and her team can't do a half legally binding will and do it cheaper for you. It's all about making sure you've got something in place that's really protecting your family. Is that right?
Correct. Yes,
yeah.
100%.
Okay, perfect. So other questions we've got is in regards to more complicated structures. So we've had clients that have just said, oh, but we don't really have anything. Like, what should we do? Firstly, you still need a legally binding will, right? Even if they think they don't have anything.
Correct.
Yeah. So that's still protecting their houses, even if they haven't got kids. Superannuation, all that sort of stuff needs to be covered.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Good. And then the second part of that is, do I need any more protection? So I think, and excuse my terminology, is, you know, whether there's like a basic will or a standard will and estate planning, and then we talk about testamentary trusts.
Yes.
And you can help me with the rest of the terminology of the more complex things that some people need.
Yeah, so it really depends on your situation and your family situation. So with testamentary trusts, for example, that's great for asset protection with blended families. So if you're in a second marriage or in a second partnership with a de facto partner and they've got children, testamentary trusts is definitely something that I would recommend in those circumstances, just because it protects your assets and ensures that your children will get the benefit of your estate as opposed to potentially your partner's children.
That's right. So the thing is, Natalie is the expert. This is what they do. They live and breathe it, and it's important to protect your assets. You know, we finance your assets, so that's why we think it's really important here at Blackfish. We've all got legally binding wills. That's why Natalie's in here helping our clients, because you really have to have that protected. So any other questions, let us know. It's great. We love getting the questions. We never know how the videos are going because you can't tell from live, but we're getting emails and phone calls and clients actually already coming in. Is good news. So thank you for today.
Thanks, Leah.
And we will keep doing updates on particular topics as they come up.